Hi everyone, and welcome to the fourth instalment of the Wide Sky Songwriting Sessions. Today we're going to be looking at the fourth track on the album, which is Let Me Fall. Now Let Me Fall is the only love song on Wide Sky. I know, shock horror! And it was inspired by a TV programme that I saw. Now I can't remember what the programme was or who the characters were, but what I do remember is the storyline was along the lines of seeing someone that you used to love 20 years later. So these two characters hadn't seen each other for ages, had got married, had their own lives, moved on, hadn't really thought about each other for 20 years, and then all of a sudden they bump into each other. And it raised all sorts of questions for me as a writer as to, could you go back to being the person that you were 20 years ago? Do those feelings ever go away when you fall in love with someone? Do they stay there? And so I started to put this down into song, and I started to think about some of the imagery that would surround that song. Now with this song, I wanted it to be quite wide and quite cinematic in the music and also the lyrics. So I concentrated on using imagery and making it as poetic as I could. Now the lyrics were quite hard to this song because I set myself quite a high bar, quite a challenge to write this in a way that hadn't been written before. So to use medieval imagery, Renaissance imagery, doorways, hourglasses, all sorts of little things that each have meaning of their own, so all relate and tie into the story. So there's lots of little stories weaving in between the big story. And there's also a slight nod to some Kate Bush and some Peter Gabriel there lyrically as well, in terms of running from guards and that sort of romantic imagery. So that's the lyrics. And as for the music, well again, I wanted to create something that was wide and cinematic. Now when I first came up with the song, it sounded quite generic and quite, flat-footed sort of pop music, four to the floor type thing. And I wasn't very happy with it, but I just wanted to get the initial idea down. So this is the very first version of Let Me Fall. And that's my computer telling me no. There we go.
Try to break into your heart. A ghost from many years ago. You take me apart. If I could believe that you really see how things have moved too fast, but I don't believe that you really mean the things you say out loud.
I do love singing with a cold.
You let me fall, yeah, you let me trip again. Yeah, you take it all and you let me fall again.
So it's nice, it's okay, it's nothing special. So I went away and I thought about it. I left it for a good few months actually, knowing that I had the idea of the song down. And then I listened to something one night. I listened to Peter Gabriel's So album. Now I'm quite inspired by Peter Gabriel and a lot of his work. And there's one particular track on there that we've all heard millions of times, but I've never really listened to it intensely enough to sort of understand how the production was put together. And as I was playing it on my record player, I suddenly noticed the swinging feeling and where the kick drum sat and how the bass moved. And that by breaking that rhythm up, it gave the top line space to breathe.
In this proud land we grew up strong. We were wanted all along.
So, having heard that song millions of times and never actually noticing how it's put together, I thought I would try some of the techniques that we used in that song on Let Me Fall. And lo and behold, I came up with something different. Now, it wasn't just the Peter Gabriel influences that come across in this song. There's also quite a heavy Arabic influence in this. And again, I was working with a lot of the Syrian musicians at the time, and I wanted to bring across some of that music into Wide Sky, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to do that. Now, while doing this song, I appreciate that there are elements of Arabic pop music, but it's still not a massive crossover between Western and Arabic pop music. That's still something that I'm working on. So this is more of a flavour of Arabic music on top of Western pop music. But by breaking the rhythm up, it gave a lot more space and a lot more clarity to me as a producer and as a songwriter as to where the song could go. Sounds a little bit more recognisable now.
Travelers on a path that don't ever pass. Time splits itself from memory like an hourglass. Now here you are, that name from afar. Supernatural spark. Your hands, they reach from waters deep. Illusions in the dark. Ooh. Don't let me fall. Don't let me trip again. Ooh. Don't take it all. Don't let me slip again.
So, there you have it. All of a sudden the track opened up by taking that drum loop out, by having something that was a little bit intermittent. It suddenly gave space for the imagery to take shape. So I took that into the studio with Jez over in Ashford, and we worked on the song. And because we had time to work on this album, because we had that 2.5 year period, it gave us a chance to analyse the melody of the song and try and tighten it up and make it better, make it a little bit more mature. So we changed the pre-chorus melody, and we changed a few other elements as well, just to give it a little bit of more of a melodic flow, to make it more interesting. It also gave us a chance to fiddle about with the production and add more layers and more textures and give it that really wide cinematic feel. So that is Let Me Fall, a sort of vague love story taken from a TV show that I can't remember. So let me play you the acoustic version of Let Me Fall. Now, Let Me Fall was written on the piano. I'm not a piano player. I'm sad to say I am very much a guitarist. And I wrote this on the piano mainly because it restricted my ability to sort of think theoretically, and I just felt where I was going with the song, mostly on the white notes. So I then had to transfer that back to guitar again to be able to play it live and think about how I would get across some of the imagery, some of the romanticism of the song. So this is the live version of Let Me Fall.
On a path that don't ever pass. Time splits itself in two like an hourglass. Here you are, that name from afar. Supernatural spark. Hands that reach from waters deep. Illusions in the dark. Don't let me fall, don't let me trip again. Ooh, don't take it all, don't let me slip again. Many times I have tried to break into your heart. That door closed many years ago. You take it apart. Asleep, be still, do secrets kill? and it shifts so fast. Arise, awake, is it too late to reason with the past? Ooh, don't let me fall, don't let me trip again. Ooh, don't take it all, don't let me slip again. Don't let me fall, don't let me trip again. Ooh, don't take it all, don't let me slip again. So many skins I shed for you, bound by the beast, running from the guard. Ooh, don't let me fall, don't let me trip again. Ooh, don't take it all, don't let me slip again. Ooh, ooh,
And there you have it. That's the acoustic version of Let Me Fall. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's journey through the fourth track on the album Wide Sky. Next week we're going to be ramping things up a little bit with the fifth track on the album, which is Free Falling. So a little bit more pop, a little bit more sensual. I will see you next week.